On this episode of Crucible, we're going to be talking about how to get unstuck, or what does it mean to be in a rut, signs that you're stuck in a rut, and then how do you get out of your rut.
We all face challenges, crucibles in life that make us or break us, and our health is often the biggest crucible we will face. This podcast is designed to help you achieve your health goals through simple, strategic, and proven methods. In every episode, we'll learn about how to overcome your health crucibles and live your best life.
Hello, everybody. It's Marylee Hand coming to you live from my Diva Den studios in Brentwood, Tennessee for my Crucible recording and podcast Crucible. So on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about how to get out of a rut or how to get unstuck with the following points. What does it mean to be in a rut? How do you know you're the signs that you know that you are stuck in a rut, and how to get out of that rut or to get unstuck. So my information today was researched from the masterclass.com website and Dr. A's Good Old Habits of Health book, which is available digitally on our optavia.com website and also on Amazon. So have you ever been stuck or feel like you are in a rut? So here's Webster's definition of a rut. Quite literally, a long, deep track made of repeated passage of the wheels of vehicles. So this resonated with me because I grew up in western Nebraska in Scottsbluff, where the Oregon Trail went through Mitchell Pass. And we would always take, visitors to come and see us from all over. And, we'd take them out to the Scottsbluff National Monument and we'd see these ruts and walk down, you could walk down part of the path, and everything. It's all protected because it is a national monument. But between 1840 and 1860, there were 300 to 400,000 wagon trains, and wagons that went through there. And you can still see these ruts. And they were not just like a little bit, or you could just barely see. I mean, we're talking deep. Some of them were, 6 feet deep, 3 feet deep, depending on the erosion probably of the soil. So I thought, wow, that's really a good visual for me, because if you do feel like you're stuck, you sometimes just feel like you're in just like this small little hole and you can't seem to get out. So sometimes it's not as obvious though, and sometimes it can be, and this is another definition, a habit or a pattern of behavior that has become dull and unproductive but is hard to change. And I've been in those ruts, both emotionally, spiritually, with my health, with relationships, you name it. It's, it can all start piling up with your family, just conflict can bring all sorts of things, negative things, I think, into your life. So the definition of being stuck then is quite literally to be fixed in a particular position or unable to move or be moved. So if you think about a window that's being stuck and that is your life, is like a metaphor, then, you're stuck again, pushing against the glass, against the, the wood of the casing of the window. And, it's almost impossible sometimes, or becoming fixed or jammed in one place, such as a result of an obstruction, like you're stuck in the mud. But a person can feel like you're emotionally stagnant and you may lack the motivation for everyday tasks. And that's what it means to personally be stuck in a rut. It comes across not as so obvious as those definitions, but to be at a loss for or in need of, for example, you're at a loss for words or ideas or thoughts. Solutions, you don't know which way to go, or you can't get over the death of a loved one. Sometimes it's to remain in a static condition and you fail to progress. A lot of people call me, and this is my number one thing that people will tell me is I'm stuck at, and then they give me X amount of weight, 250 pounds, 190 pounds, 157, whatever, and whatever they think is their most horrible number. And I'm like, okay, we have a solution for that. I can help you, get out of that situation. So if you are in a rut, the days may blur together and you may feel like you're operating on autopilot. Being in a rut may feel similar to an experience or experiencing burnout and adversely affecting your physical and mental well-being. Challenges in your personal or professional life may lead to this feeling of demotivation. You may feel like you need to remain in a specified place or situation, typically one that's perceived as tedious or unpleasant. Maybe you're stuck in your job, you're stuck in a church, you're stuck in a relationship, you're stuck in fill in the blanks, and you feel like you can't get out. Getting out of that rut, it does take time, it takes self-care, and but reigniting your sense of purpose is a rewarding process. So here are 4 signs that you know for sure you're stuck in a rut, because you might need to reacquaint yourself with your thoughts and beliefs. First, you need to do that. Discontentment is one or more areas of life that can lead to a person being in a rut. Considering 1, a lack of inspiration. You may have a lack of motivation or interest in hobbies, passions, or even relationships. That may signify a rut. Second, you can experience negative thoughts. And if you feel your personal professional life is not progressing, then you might be experiencing negative thoughts about that as well. Or you engage in that negative self-talk, which is absolutely destroying. This negativity can become an obstacle keeping you from achieving your goals. Your inability to complete tasks, simple tasks like making your bed, showering, doing laundry, exercising, all of that stuff may fall to the wayside if you don't put your needs first. And this deprioritization of yourself can be an indication of a rut. We used to laugh during COVID. It's like, so how many days do you go before you shower? How many days have you been in your jammies? And it was pathetic because everybody pretty much had the same answers. And it was a funny way to be able to cope, with that uncontrollable kind of situation. So sometimes you may be resistant to change. You may aspire to create change in your own life, but the thought of doing that feels overwhelming and unpleasant. So how do we get out of a rut? If you feel a lack of motivation or unfulfillment in your personal or professional life, take a step back to evaluate your life so you can overcome that rut and move forward. So the very first thing is evaluate your situation. Getting out of the rut, you've got to understand why you're in the one that you're in, or you're in the place that you are. Notice the signs and figure out what area of your life is causing that discontentment. It's usually pretty obvious, and it's usually multiple areas of your life. That's at least been my state when I've just felt overwhelmed because of losing my mom. I'm trying to produce a musical at school, and we're literally on, the performance states, and I know that my mom's dying, and dealing with family. I know they're there taking care of her, and I'm, 3 hours away and I can't get there, praying that I could be able to say goodbye to her before she passed away. And, all of that, and then juggling, the day-to-day stuff. And then that was just only one thing I was doing, with my life professionally. So it does get incredibly overwhelming. So for me, it was not my health, but it was really my mental state and my spiritual place that, I needed to start it on and get started on, figuring out, okay, how do I get out of this kind of thing? So focus on your well-being to start feeling like yourself again. Develop a self-care plan. Simply add one self-care activity into your daily routine at a time. And this is the favorite part of my day because I feel like, okay, I've done all my work. I've done all this, I've got everything done. And now I get to go create something. For me, it could be crafts. It could be sewing. It could just be redecorating. I love to decorate. Or just sitting down and reading a book, reading 10 pages of a book that I haven't, I've been putting off. So prioritizing your needs will help you feel more positive, and it promotes self-love. A few days ago, one of my new coaches said to me, I was asking him, what are your goals? And he says, well, my main priority is self-love, because I don't love myself as much right now because I let myself slip and I've gained 20 pounds. And it's like, okay, that's great. That's a great way of putting it, and not saying, oh, my first goal is to lose 20 pounds because I'm fat. It's I want to work on my self-love. And I thought, good for him. That was a super great way to state that. So you can also get outside of your comfort zone in your free time. Do that and give yourself your best effort to try something new. So take a class, Go to a new restaurant. Go to a new restaurant and order something different. Don't order the same. Attempt a new hobby at home. For me, it's recording these episodes of Crucible because I was a performance person, either as a performer, literally, or as a musical director. And I'm on stage and we've practiced weeks and weeks and weeks for our concert, our event, our competition, or whatever was coming up. So by the time we walked out on stage after a warm up, we were ready to kill it, And this has been extremely humbling for me to record these episodes because I don't consider myself the most fluent, or, flowery with my language or whatever, it's just difficult sometimes for me to express my opinion, let alone how I feel about it. And my whole goal of doing this is to be able to help people. So then I have to weave all that in together. But the best part is this is a recording. And so I know that I can stop. I've got great editors. Ben's on the other side of the camera today. And shout out to Two Brothers Creative, who are my producers in Omaha. So I'm doing this remotely because I'm here in Nashville. But it's just been a great learning experience for me, and has opened a whole new world of not just the technology, but just I don't even know how to say it. The optimization of making sure that people hear your podcast and all that goes along with that. I'll just stop there. But it's been super good for me. And, I try to learn and do something new. I can't say I do it every year, but I do try to always improve myself with new skills. I learned how to scuba dive. That was one of the first things I did 8 years ago after I retired. And then we went to Cabo, went scuba diving with my son. He's my scuba partner. And, it just gives you such a sense of, first of all, it was fear, of going, oh my gosh, I've got to pass this test in 3 days and I've got to have an 80%. And I don't, there's this whole book to read and all these videos and the skill part was simple for me because I've been a swimmer my whole life and I've taught and I was a water safety instructor and, junk like that. So, but it was just really a good reminder to me that I need to be the student on the other side of the classroom. And it's good to learn because it helps keep your brain active, of course, as well, too. So the fourth way to get out of a rut or being stuck is to look for a change of scenery. Introduce small changes to your routine by changing your scenery or break the monotony. Go outside, work remotely from a coffee shop, plan a vacation, take time off, get away from being stuck in your house, get away from being behind a desk, change venues. It's not so easy if you're in an office building and you have your own little office space, either an office or a cubicle to work from, or for me, it was my classroom. It was just a treat to get out and go walk down the hall and talk to other teachers, but that I would do that routinely, mostly so I could see other students, and say hi and love on them. But also sometimes it's just like, oh man, I got to ventilate. I got to go talk to somebody about what just happened in my classroom and they'll never believe it, But that change of venue does help provide that coping mechanism, I think. So, and probably the most important way to get out of a rut is to do a gratitude journal daily. And this is mine. It's called Be Still, a prayer journal for women. And it is a prayer journal. It's got beautiful graphics in it. And it does have scripture and I write my daily prayers of either, Lord, please help me because I'm desperate to get this done and I don't know where to start. Or I look back over all the prayers that I have written in there and it's like, oh, wow, Lord, thank you so much for answering all these things and making all these things happen in my life. You kind of tend to forget. And it's, when I look back page after page, it's like, wow, God is so faithful. And that positivity alone, is enough to spur me on and get me out of my rut if I'm in one. So also set small goals, set realistic goals that you can accomplish in a short period of time and take small steps to achieve them. Showing yourself you can make progress and do things that you love will boost your self-esteem and help you feel a sense of purpose. A small change that you can do right now is to change how much water you drink. Make sure you're drinking 64 ounces of water. Maybe you need more than that. For me, it's about 100 to 110 ounces. So water staves off hunger. It also clears out mind fog, and it gives you energy. And when you have food cravings, it's usually because you're dehydrated. If you feel tired and run down, it's usually because you're dehydrated. So water is a very small, a very great example of setting a small goal. Also spend time with your loved ones, schedule time with your friends, have lunch, whatever, family, and open up with them about your feelings. Who are the people in your life that are anchors, that are safe people? Talk to others about what you're experiencing, and that can be extremely helpful. I don't know where I'd be without my husband, my kids, my grown-up kids, my grandchildren, my extended family, my sister, my brother, sister-in-law. They're not extended family, but it truly makes a difference, and that love and unconditional love that you get from them is, at least for me in my life, keeps me anchored and centered. And last but not least, talk to a mental health professional. Consider speaking with a clinical psychologist that can help you come up with a plan to get unstuck, or, put in the time to go through therapy. Be patient, because it's not going to happen in a day, a month, a week. It may take a year. I've had several breakthroughs and a lot of aha moments of going, oh my gosh, I never absolutely remembered that, but that is truly why I'm reacting, in a negative fashion or whatever. But if you stick with it, you can be that buffalo that goes into the storm, comes through the storm on the other side, for healing, versus, cattle that all just huddle together. They all face inwards, and, they don't do so well in storms. So be the buffalo. But in closing, remember that you are worth it. Pick yourself up out of your ditch. Some of you are laying in a ditch, and you are now starting to decorate your ditch. You've got flowers going on in there. You've got bedding in there. You've probably inserted some Wi-Fi in your ditch, and you need to get out of your place where you're unstuck and get up out of there. There's this worship song that talks about get up, get up, get up, get up, get out of that grave, and that people are beyond the ditch and that they've dug their grave and they've buried themselves in there, so I really just encourage you, join me and help slay your crucible that you're going through, and get out of your rut, get unstuck, so that you can find that freedom and truly be able to change. So I can help you as a wellness coach with your physical health, with your mental health, with your spiritual health, I should say, and whatever else or however else I can help you, because this podcast is truly devised and designed to help other people. So you can reach out to me at Crucible Podcast on Facebook, or championsofcrucibles.com. And I'd love to help you. So reach out, and thank you, and God bless.
This income testimonial is not representative of the average earnings that coaches achieve with Optavia. Only a very small number of coaches will achieve income that is within the range of this testimonial. Optavia makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with Optavia results only from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the Optavia income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches. In a clinical study, the group on the Optimal Weight 5-in-1 plan lost 10 times more weight than the self-directed group. Average weight loss for clients on the Optimal Weight 5-in-1 plan is 12 pounds. References include Dr. A's Habits of Health book by Wayne Scott Anderson, Your Life book by Wayne Scott Anderson, The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership by Jem Diethmer, Diana Chapman, and Kaylee Warner-Klemp. Lifelong Transformation, One Healthy Habit at a Time. Optimal Weight 5-in-1 plan. Optimal Weight 3-in-3 plan. Optavia, the 4 components of our system. Optavia Coach, The Habits of Health Transformational System, Your Life book by Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson.